Hello Year 4. This week we're going to be looking at diary writing with the aim of you writing your own diary about your experiences of lockdown during this global pandemic. But before we do that, we're going to explore some diaries, and the first diary that we're going to look at is the Diary of Anne Frank, and you may have heard of this before. It is incredibly famous. I'm going to give you a tiny little bit of background information about Anne Frank to set the scene so you know what's going on and the story behind. She was given a diary at the age of 13. She was living in Amsterdam during the war, and she was a Jew, and they were persecuted in the war by the Germans. And during the time that she kept a diary, she was forced into hiding so that she wouldn't be arrested by German soldiers and sent to concentration camps where conditions were horrific and most people didn't survive. So because they were frightened for their lives, Anne Frank's family and another family went into hiding so that they wouldn't be caught by the German soldiers. And they went into hiding at the top of an office block, and it was the very top layer of the house, the top story of the house, which is a bit like the annex or the roof, and they stayed in hiding in this area for 2 years. And during the time she kept her diary, so we get a little bit of insight into her life, what it was like being kept up there in the attic for 2 years, not being able to go out at all, and if she did go out then she would be arrested, and what it was like living in a very confined space with another family. So here you can see this is actually, the house still survives today. If you go to Amsterdam, you can go and visit it. I have. It's a very emotional place to go once you've read the diary. And the way in which you got up to the attic was through the bookcase, and that took you up some stairs up into the attic rooms. And you can see this was Anne Frank's bedroom with her sister Margot. But again, there was another family that were there living with them on this top annex of this building too. So her diary that she kept, she starts at Dear Diary at the beginning and then refers to her diary as Kitty. Her diary then almost becomes her friend and her companion, where she wrote, not necessarily every day, but she wrote her journal of the things that were happening and the feelings that she had throughout this time, being locked away up in the annex for fear of being found by the German soldiers. She wrote it in Dutch and German. And later, when her father discovered her journal, her diary, it was translated into different languages so people could read it all over the world. So today, you are going to read a little extract from the diary, the very first extract, and you're going to be thinking about retrieving information from the diary. So just getting a little bit of information from what you read. So this is an extract from Sunday, June the 14th, 1942, and this is the day after, or 2 days after, she got the diary for her birthday present, and she carried on writing her diary until sadly she was discovered by the German soldiers. If you would like to, you can visit the website that I've put on your learning pack, where you can find out a little bit more about Anne Frank and see some photos of where they were living. So she was in a very desperate situation and having to hide away for fear of her life for 2 years. So although we can't compare our experiences of lockdown with hers because it's very different, I think we can begin to empathise with Anne Frank, because it's been quite hard for us to stay in our homes, only going out for exercise once a day so far. It's been really tricky for us to do that, whereas Anne Frank didn't have that opportunity at all, not for 2 years. So enjoy finding out about her if you would like to, and your guided reading and your English lesson today will be based on this little extract from her diary. And I will see you